Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? And did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? It's too late now, 'cause I'm growing old. But I need you to deal with my sorrow. Just a memory, just a broken frame. And I know that I have no one else to blame. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it? And did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Should have told you that you're beautiful. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now?
Here we go again. It is 5 o'clock. It is Saturday the 20th of October. And it's time for a little bit more of CAD like nobody's watching. My goodness, a whole week has gone already. This week just flew past for me. Few announcements for this week. I put it in the chat, but there is now a Discord. Philip has already found his way in. Hi, Philip. I'm probably still going to run the YouTube chat and the Discord. I'll figure out how this works. The YouTube chat is obviously useful because if you're just tuning in via the app, you get it. But the Discord lets us have a little bit more sharing, I hope. It means that if you have pictures to share, you can drop them in there. I can bring them up on the screen. We'll see how that works out. So, my goodness, how are you doing? I hope you are going to fire up Fusion or your CAD of choice, or generally come and chill with me for the next hour whilst I tinker around with a few projects. First things first, we'll check in on a few of the things I've been working on today. Let's look at the streaming camera. This is what's on the printer right now. Not very exciting. It is a third adapter for my Cyclone. We'll come and have a look at that right now. So, last week, I think I had run out of filament. I was printing off the top of my three-way adapter to try and make it up. I actually ended up doing this twice, annoyingly. First time I measured with a tape measure, which was not as precise as it could have been. And I did have a go at cutting it down to size. It didn't really work very well. So I just printed another top section, which I glued on here. I'm going to come back to that. That's going to be the last thing we look at before we get going into CAD, because I'm really fucking chuffed with it. He says I shouldn't swear. I'm very happy with how that's turned out. We'll come back to that in a minute. What else did I do today? Well, this week I got my new Work Zone portable bandsaw. If you've been following me on Instagram, you will have seen it. This is a very fun piece of kit. I feel like the deal is pretty good. £150 in the UK for little portable bandsaw. Normally, I've been looking for this sort of thing for a long time. They're normally at least double that, if not more. They often come as kind of cordless, and the batteries are expensive. I didn't really need cordless, so this is just a little brief view of that. Actually, today, for the first time in quite a while, I made a proper YouTube video, not just a live stream of me sitting here doing CAD. So that went up on the channel today, a little unboxing of that. You can go check that out if you're of a mood to. Let me just mute it. You get the idea. I dragged it in, we cut through it. I did a bunch of angles. Editing, video editing, my goodness. What a time. Anyway, that's there should you care to check it out. I did also, whilst I'm talking about video editing, I started, let's have a quick look through this, pulling together some of the video from making my CNC dust shoe, which we covered a lot over the last few weeks in this very program. I'm probably going to try and do a video of this, just getting it going on the CNC machine, just to have it in one place rather than like spread out through a bunch of different things. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I might have a go at the old live streaming. Ooh, now let's just check on the Discord. Philip, you managed to get CNC Brain Award. Wow, that is looking pretty swish. Let's have a look. Can we open that in big style? Wow, that looks very, very neat. So much neater than my CNC machine. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I have most of my electronics in a little bit of Tupperware, kind of like taped to the back of my CNC machine. It's a bit of a mess. That looks very neat. I like it. Right. So, last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into CNC was how this went. I've been working on it for the last few weeks at least. This was the maiden voyage, I guess. Before I hit play, you'll see I ended up just using a hot glue gun to attach the two pieces, the sort of the extra print piece. It doesn't look very neat, but it worked really well. It was really quick. So let's just hit play on this little thing here. So yeah, you'll see it doesn't look perfectly set up, but the interior twists nicely. Initially I didn't have this pushed quite far enough on, but you can twist the selector between the different points quite easily. But the thing that really kind of made me very happy was that when it's selected on a particular thing, that is getting pretty much all of the suction, and there's nothing pulling from the other things, which I just proved here with a piece of paper. Like, there's just no suction coming out there. All the suction is driving down the one I want, and it's this easy to just toggle it between them. Oh, so happy with how that works. I may one day print like a all-in-one just to have a slightly neater one, but like it's really easy to select between those three, get all the suction I want, no leakage, or at least not too much leakage. Feels good when something actually works. Feels good when it works. So anyway, this isn't 3D print while no one's watching. This is CAD like no one's watching. So what are we going to do today? I am going to do a couple of more experiments with seeing how neat I can make some of these paths. I have an idea for how I might want to do something a bit interesting and organic in the Nerf gun design. We'll come back to that. I've got a little bit of a tweak that I want to make to the scribe design based on some feedback, which is just to taper in the end, extend the neck point slightly. I'm going to spend a little bit of time working on this whole kitchen knife filing, setup, whatnot idea, and then the rest of the time we'll try and make this very boring block look a bit closer to at least a bit more of a Nerf gun. That's what I'm working on. You may steal my idea, no problem, Philip. In fact, I've been thinking I might try and get around to publishing the model on Thingiverse for anyone that wants it, because I already published the vacuum hose attachments. I think this goes well. I'm say, stoked by how well that worked. So I feel like it might be worth sharing. People might want it, so I will probably try and do that later. So this is what I'm going to work on for a second. Let me just, how do I come out of this? In there, there we are. Should anyone else join the Discord and want to share what they're working on right now, I think I'll hear the bleeps, so we will get to that. And so yeah, this is what I'm going to play with right now for the next few minutes at least. So what I wanted to do was try and make these slight, in fact, you know what? I'm actually going to stop this. I'm going to start a whole new design because I kind of was experimenting in that one, but similar concept. I want to create a little bit of a freeform 3D spline, multiple 3D splines that will allow me to do some profiles along them. So I'm going to say 25. So we'll have one. So we'll just do like a sinewy whatnot. And actually, that's a good point. What do I want to do? Let's put that there. I'm gonna move some of these points around in 2D first. Let's have that like this. Let's do that. Okay. Now, I want to see the origin, and I'm trying to remember. I think I need to do include 3D geometry. Select that. Now I should be able to grab this fella and move him up. So let's do that. I want to make it slightly spirally, I guess. And the idea I have is I want to make a few of these that interweave. And I don't know whether I'm just going to make a horrible mess really quickly. So let's bring you across to that. And actually, yeah, I think I want to try and keep everything inside of, let's say, a 0 to 25 window. I don't want to get too sharp with. Let's do that. Okay, so that's sort of a weird profile. That's probably not going to work, but so first thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to create link to everything in the video description. That's a good idea. I will put I'll try and put a link in when I get to the end of this. I think I'm just making Geek on Thingiverse as well, so if you're looking, you'll probably be able to find me. I'm essentially making Geek everywhere. Right, let's stop that sketch. I want to sketch again on here. Do I want to make this a circular profile? I think I do for the moment, but let's make it quite a small 5 mil. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so that's obviously going to need to come much less steeply away from that profile. Let's grab you. Like that. And I think I can move. Is that not right? Come on, give me. Oh, there we are. Right. So what I'm trying to get to is whether or not I can create a sweep along that path in 3D in a way that looks half decent. All right. So that's perpendicular. And if I say parallel, what does it look like? Parallel looks a little bit meatier. Still looks good. Okay, let's go with that for the moment. So the challenge now is to create another path that wraps partially around this one and looks any amount of good. That's what I'm going for right now. Right, so I think to keep things neater, I'm gonna do this as a separate sketch rather than add it on to the sketch I started with, because I think that will let me I think that will let me keep things a little bit more segregated. So let's come out. I want to do, and let's bring you to about there. Tweak you around a bit. The other cool thing I think about, well, I should be able to sort of play around and refine the curves later if I get them broadly in line. Okay, so include 3D geometry. Select that plane. So now let's see. I think I need to bring this guy up and over, and yeah, that doesn't go very low, does it? I might need to tweak that a little bit. Let's stay over for the moment. Like that. You're quite low, I like it. And then let's keep you low. Right, so we'll do that. We'll put another profile on the end, again separate sketch, and then we'll see how that looks. It's sort of a kind of a helix. I think I want a bit more organic than that, because I did think, oh, I could just do like a coil and a bunch of interlocking coils to get like a perfect helix, but I just wanted to experiment with something a little bit more weird. I don't know. I'm probably going to regret it. It'll probably end up looking awful, but it is, you know, it's experimentation time. So, oh, okay. So I've obviously, okay, I intersected there. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so let's say new body. Okay. So that is that, and now I'm going to do a third one, and we'll see whether or not we can make that intertwine those two nicely, and we'll see how that looks. Spline, fit point spline, sketch on that surface. So we'll start this guy over here, and yeah, I think, is there going to be any room? Just trying to, yeah, so maybe there'll be room to tightly pull up round and maybe over that fella, but under that fella, and I think what I'm probably going to end up finding here is that it's a lot more work to make this look good and intersect in the ways that I want. But let's try this. So I was thinking you go under, which twists that nicely, and then higher than that. You might need to come in a bit. Bring you in a bit more. Then you're gonna stay like that. You're gonna come down. Then where are we? I think that was gonna come up over like that. We'll bring you a wee smidge over. That's going to go completely through that. What is the line to get through there? Maybe if I pull it over a bit like that. Okay, let's see what that looks like when we so stop that, create a new sketch. 5. That doesn't look right. That's not at all the point that I'm supposed to be doing. This is the difficulty of spotting in things in 3D. Yeah, I'm trying not to think too much about how to print it yet, because I don't want to artificially limit my idea until a little bit later in the process. But yes, I guess it would make sense to print this in 3 dimensions. So you are parallel, you're cutting somewhere, you're cutting. It looks like you cut there. Okay, well, let's join and see what you look like. Bum, bum, bum. Well, it's something, that's for sure. It's definitely a thing. I think it's a little bit wild. Like, I feel like I probably would want to try and keep it within sort of a more consistent boundary, so it gets a bit flared out here. It's not bad from an up-down point of view. Although I really do need to think about how they want to terminate, and whether or not I want to do something a bit more regular. But that, I mean, as an experiment in quickly dragging stuff around, not too disappointed. I could go for more of an explicit plait, which could be interesting. But it's definitely a trial and error-y kind of thing to try and get something that's going to look any good. I could definitely tighten those holes up. Okay, good experiment. What should we call this? Spline weave experiment. Right, that's that. Move on for a second. Quick adjustment to this fella. So a couple of comments that I had with it. This collar needs to be longer, really, but I'm wondering whether I can get away with tapering this end in so that it holds the pencil tip more, because I think part of the problem is that you where the pencil tip is quite widely tapered, you want this to be quite close to the wall, and you end up kind of struggling a little bit to get both the grip and the distance you want. So what's the best way to just taper this guy in, do we think? Probably a revolve on a line. Let me sketch on this surface. So let's leave like a 3mm hole there. Now, do I want to pick exactly the taper of a regular pencil sharpened pencil? Decisions. What I do need is an axis through that fella. Do I have an axis through that? That looks like I might already be on. Helpful. Already on that axis. Good. So let's sketch on. Come on. Oh. No, origin is over there. Unless I've. So what axis am. What is this then if that's not the origin? The origin is wildly over there. I want to sketch on the plane that runs through that, don't I? Yeah. Okay, let me create a plane and then instead then. Interesting. Yeah, I could sketch up. I've never gotten much into other CAD models, and maybe I should experiment more broadly. But the I feel like this Fusion has really captured my imagination, and I feel like, of course, now I've got a tool I can do some things with. I want to do everything with it. That's not what I want to do. This is going to be my old friend. The exactly what construction plane do I need to create the blasted? Let's do an offset plane off of any of these, I think, because no, not plane angle. I said offset, didn't I? Offset plane. Because I know that all of these surfaces are offset from this guy, and they should be by a very known number, which I've even written on the top. So, plane like that. Let's sketch on that plane, except I kind of, right, so I want to be, can I see that, why can't I see that? Don't do that. I want to see the plane, and I want to reach down into there to sketch on it approximately like that. And whoa, no, hello, let's move that point. This is probably a terrible way to do this. I want that to intersect with that circle, but is that right? Is that going to do? No. I was hoping it would lock me to the circle, but it does not seem to want to do that. Do they interlock in any way? Maybe not. So if I bring you up to there, and then from there to there, I should still be able to do a revolve of why have my sketches disappeared. Thank you. Get rid of everything except for the last one. Revolve a view around, yes, that axis, please, and join. Oh, that's interesting. Why have I got little cut marks? I guess I didn't quite get my profile in deep enough. Let's accept that for the second, come back to this sketch, push out that point a little bit more so that we get a clean intersection. Same with you. Let's just cause a note. Oh, except I locked you to, okay, well I locked you to that edge, so that hopefully will give a better, or not. Or not. Why have I got a gap? That's kind of annoying. It looks right from that side. But that might give a better support for a pencil point getting much closer to the end. And then I need to think about what the overall depth of that needs to be. I didn't want to make it too deep, because I think if it's too deep, it's going to be difficult to, well, not difficult, it's just a waste of material. So it's 17 at the moment. Let's make it 20, and we'll call it good at that. An extra 3 mil of bulk on there, plus a taper. Okay, that'll do for that. How are we doing? We're halfway through. Good. Next up, where did I get to with the file jig? So starting to think about how it can go up and down. I'm probably gonna have to create all this in components and see if I can actually make it move. That would be quite interesting, whether or not I could make that work. Yes. So it'd be interesting actually to join that frame together and make it slide side to side, and then join those frames together. Right, okay, we can worry about that later. For now, I need to create the top and bottom connections for these posts. That will then allow sliding backwards and forwards. Yes, that is the theory. How do I want to do that? If I sketch on basically a profile end with that, and I create just a box around all of those, and then do that again to create the internal whatnot. Actually, don't do that. Create an offset. We'll create we'll call it an 18 offset, and then we'll come down. Let's say minus, well, down, up, down. Let's go up for the moment. So that creates a top structure, and then, oh, except, what did I do there? How did I end up with a hole through it? Huh, that's weird. What I shouldn't have done a join just then. I should have done a new body so that I could clone it. Let's have a new body instead. Now I can copy it down and stick one there. So that's the idea. So yeah, if I just for a second switch off everything that isn't part of that, that it's touching. Yeah, okay, and combine those so that we are a single rigid unit. I think that will be okay. So that frame is like that. And I possibly want to connect this end to this end, except that's probably not how the file is going to end up fitting in. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is. Just getting ahead of myself with the idea of construction joints, just wanting to animate things. Okay, so if this platform can slide up and down on these pegs, and these rods can slide in and out side to side, then this whole exterior frame needs to be able to slide back and forth. But it needs to do it on that axis, I think. Yeah, I think you're right, Philip. I think the peg, I'm just going to ignore it for the moment, but I suspect something transferred onto my sketch and I didn't extrude. Yeah, I guess it must have been when I extruded this up. In fact, let's fix that right now because I can do that. Yeah. I guess one of those pegs was slightly longer than the others, and I ended up with it. There we are. All fixed. I kind of am regretting a little bit that I set this angle up, because now that I think about it, I think that actually this whole frame could and maybe should just hold the file flat to the frame. So the whole thing is just basically an XYZ constraint for a file, and then I can get the angle by attaching this in whichever orientation I want inside of that frame. That seems like it would be probably better. Because this is all just going to be it's all complicated by the fact it's off at weird angles at the moment. I don't think I need it to be. I'm just trying to think through whether or not that makes sense. This would need to come down. Where was I doing those things? That's the question. I'm not sure that I want to. Alright, that's where I sketched him down. It's always kind of annoying when you get to a certain point and need to kind of rethink some of the initial thoughts. Well, Philip, now we have a Discord. You see, if last week we lacked the ability to share information in a richer format than text. But yes, I think you're right. This structure for the file doesn't need to have any angles built into it. It would be much easier to just do that custom for whichever file I'm looking to do. Although the size of this whole structure is somewhat dictated or designed for this specific blade length. And so if I did want to do a like a longer knife, I would still need to redo a lot of the structure. Or would I? I mean, I guess, all right, yeah. I suppose the important thing is that one extent gives you this ability to get the shoulder at a consistent angle. It doesn't really matter. Shorter would be fine. And you could always move along. Okay, right. Enough procrastinating. The question is, am I better off just redrawing all of these components at the right angle, or should I faff around actually moving them? Let's try and say I'm gonna do an align of you to oh no, not components, bodies, please, to the underside of that, which should square you up. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to this fellow. Come here. Repeat align, underside of that to the underside of that. Oh, did I? Oh, I aligned the top of that. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Top of that to the other side of that. That's better. So that squares them off and brings them level. Then if I align hit that surface to, let's get in there. Oh, except, in fact, yeah, that's not going to help me because the holes I've cut are already weirdly slanted. So if I just align you to that surface, did I not already select you? Come on, that one and that one. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So that align didn't twist it out. Let me try that again. I was expecting that align maneuver. Oh. So they are not at the same height. Or possibly that wasn't actually a flat surface either. Oh dear, I definitely have caused myself grief. Right. I'm just going to align things to the top surface. Yes, Philip, I think you are correct. Creating, like, that's sort of where I think I'm going with this, of if I get this structure right, I can reuse it and have a fairly simple mechanism in the middle for yeah, putting in different yes. Where are we? Did I call it file at some point? You're that one, you're that one, you're that one, and you're that one. So I guess the file is, what? Oh, I've already, yeah, you're a component. That's why you're not in the list. Right. What am I doing? I'm going to align that just to this top frame because I think that I've gotten myself in a weird situation. Okay, so that's got you nice and level, and then we'll move you down again. Yeah, so I think I made the false assumption that this was a straight flat, but it's not. It was also weirdly twisted, which I think goes to show the whole point of this being a mess. It's like, why did I inherit the angle so early? I'm just gonna get rid of this and get rid of that. I quite like these blocks, although they could probably do with being more consistent. Should I come back to get rid of some of the combines I did earlier? How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness, time is just flying away. So I think this guy was where I did those combines. Yes, okay, so let's just delete that, forget that. We never did that combine, and where's the other one? That's that combine. Why have I lost the other combine? Somewhere I still must have, oh, unless I did an extrude through, is that how I got the, terrible video. Let's at least have some music whilst I flail around. Right. So, I'm still trying to find in my timeline where I cut those holes so I can stop it. I was creating all of those things. That was move. Copy and paste bodies. That was me cutting the holes that way. That was when I cut that notch out. Oh, I can probably fix that sketch actually. There we are. So I think that I had all sorts of crazy ideas. I'm looking side. What I was trying to get to was whether or not I could constrain that to be a nice known distance. There we are. Let's do the same on that side. Just level off that whole weird slantiness from me and why is that constrained? Okay, so hopefully that has made that more regular. Hey Carl, this is me playing a little bit with the the idea of a little XYZ constraining rig for a file, which will ultimately let me file the bevels on this knife idea. I realise it doesn't look like much at this point. But I'm realizing that early on in the idea, I inherited the angle of the bevel of the specific knife I was looking to make as part as I was kind of thinking through this idea of this little articulating box. Because the idea is that these will be able to go up and down on those poles, and the file will be mounted on something that will slide in and out of these holes, and the whole thing will move in relation to the blade to keep it in the angle I want, but let me file. But I realized as part of this that I don't need any of those angles to be part of this structure. I can just make the structure a straight up XYZ constrained kind of thing that will allow me to move a hand file in a regular kind of space, and then I can put a mounting block in the middle which will bring the angle of attack for whatever knife I'm working on. That's the theory. I'm running out of time. I want to spend a little bit of time on the nerf gun eye thing, so I'm going to skip to that for the last 12-13 minutes. Wow, what I've got left. So this doesn't look like much either. So what I was trying to do last week, to show you the right side, was copy the most important stuff off of an existing nerf gun in terms of the mount points and structure that had to be there. And so I had just gotten to the point that this cavity is the right length to be. Yes, I can increase. In fact, I can just drop that music. It's difficult to tell from here. I can hear both, but it's difficult to know exactly how it's going to play through. So anyway, we'll drop the music for now. Right. So yes, this cavity is the right distance for the spring mechanism that came with this gun. The next important distance, I think, is this surface is inset from this surface. So the spring comes up right against that, but the barrel comes up against that. So, and I'm going to retain the barrel, I'm going to retain the spring. So that is the next thing we're going to measure. And how far down it is from the top. So I guess the spring bracing looks like it is a good 26 mil down. So what do I want to do then? I want to take a line onto show me this. I don't want to go into that sketch. I want to come inside. I want to get rid of that sketch and that sketch. I want to sketch on this surface, and I want to come down by, what did I just say, 26 mil by that. Okay, so that, I think, is the extent of that structure. Let me just make sure that I'm orienting myself correctly. It's a little bit of a mind meld because I realize I'm mapping this model for the opposite side to the gun piece that I have in my hand. So yes. So this comes back by a section. So that barrel is 9 mil. So I kind of, let's just bring that in by 9. And then I should also be able to bring that surface in. What's the best way to do that? Let's sketch on this surface and do that, and then constrain ourselves to keep a consistent wall thickness. Like that. And then we'll drop you completely away. And similarly, I'm going to want to cut out almost entirely, actually, this end, except for enough surface to press the thing against. So if I bring a 3D printer, Carl is making another hose for my vacuum cyclone thing, because I got my 3-point cyclone selector working, but I only had 2 hoses, so now definitely wanted a third one. What are you working on? And if you haven't already, you can always jump into the Discord and share a picture of what you're working on. and we'll have a look in a bit, because you know that's the idea. Try and share more of what we're each doing with this time of the day. I think that needs to be about 5 mil in. So we're going to come back in and sketch again on this surface. So I guess I'm looking for, a hole that does something like that. What is a nerf gun diameter? Or a nerf bullet diameter? Let's make that 20. And we'll push that through the end. Comes that. In fact, I don't even know why I asked, Kyle. I have seen that you're working on Flashlight from your Instagram. It's kind of looking cool. Have you got all the parts yet, or is it are you still waiting for some of that stuff to arrive? But yeah, your renders have been looking pretty smart. Have you done any test kind of machining of actual aluminium block yet, or is that still in the theory stages? Right. We also need it looks like the diameter for the barrel point is 40, just under 15, 14.5. So what's not completely clear is how far down that needs to be. 14.5. So about 4 mil down. So let's sketch on this surface. I'm just going to give myself a 4 mil line for reference, and then we'll do a circle. We'll do a 2-point circle. And this one, what did I say that diameter was? 14.5? 14.5. So yeah, obviously this whole mechanism needs to come much deeper. Ultimately, that's fine. I knew that was going to be the case. This is really just about minimum viable. Let's bring that all the way into there for a second. Right, yeah, it's annoying when you're waiting for a component that's blocking a lot of. Carl, you should share your Instagram. And I say, if you want to, there's a Discord server with a chat room that you can share stuff in as well. And also, I can't remember who was asking about it last week. There is an Ooze Nest Ox channel where we're waiting to jump into life. Okay, so I think, primitive though this looks, I think we've got something that replicates this structure for the slide and this distance for the spring mechanism, and then this surface, specifically this kind of cutout for the back side of the barrel. Now there is this little thing here that is used for pitching the barrel out. Don't know that I need to get there quite yet. I'm just wondering whether I should, in fact, let me undo that extrude, because I think this will be easier. Oh dear. Okay, all right. If I do that, actually, I think I'm going to need to extend this whole thing down for a minute. So let's make that hollow. Ooh, it takes a while to catch up, doesn't it? Come on. Come on, you know that you're right. What? Why are you not? Didn't I just offset faces? Come here. Come here. I really hoped I'd be able to offset that just down, but I think I've probably got some constraints, and I did worry that I might end up doing that, creating overly constrained whatnot. -5. So that shouldn't disappear everything. Okay, let me try extrude instead of offset faces. That's probably more like what I want to do. Right, okay. Cut that back out. So that's quite a lot of material there. A lot of this can come away because this is where the handle design will come down. And I might work on that next. I'm going to need to create a load of posts for the connection between the sides, but I'm very much out of time. I heard a bit I don't know if that was a bit it was the bit of Kyle joining us in the Discord. Welcome to the Discord. I need to figure out still whether I'm going to keep the YouTube chat. I feel like the YouTube chat is the main thing. So this is a good place to share pictures anyway. And I hope that continues to be a thing that we can do. Share what we're working on, so it's not just me muttering and showing stuff. However, it is basically GMT o'clock. We've got 37 seconds. The day has gone crazy. I will be back tomorrow, pretty sure. Tomorrow at 5 should be good. I may try and make a bit more progress on this off camera just to try and get to a point where it's a little bit more exciting to look at. Similarly, I might fix up the mess that I made of these angled bits and get us back on track with that fella. And this experiment, I may have to tweak around a bit more as well. Think about what I want to do with these interface points and how to model exactly what I'm after. Anyway, it's been fun. It's been a good hour for me. I feel like I've made progress on a bunch of things, so I'm very productive as I've jumped through everything. Feel free to join the Discord during the time. That will stay persistent throughout. Hello. Finished wiring control box. I see this stuff looks so much neater than mine, Philip. It's amazing. So the Discord is somewhere that will stay active during the whole week. So you don't have to wait for the live stream to be active to chat. So that will be good. I will check back in on anything that people have been sharing tomorrow, 5 o'clock. For now, we need to chill out, ease into the evening, think about what I'm going to eat for dinner. It's been a pleasure as always. Catch you tomorrow.